Good day and welcome to Predators Proclivity, where we look at data from the season for the NHL Nashville Predators and make comments upon it. I am your host, Preston Proctor. Okay, so got inspired. Obviously, there was no intro music. There never has been. I've talked about it. I am inspired again to come up with something. And so looking into it, I broke out my sax and started looking at that. So hopefully before this season is out, I'll have some intro music of my own creation. For the other podcast, I did some piano work. Really wanted to do sax for that too, but ran out of time. And because my co-host there, Prudence, really wanted to have some intro music, so we got that taken care of. But yes, it'll be me on the sax when I finally get this done, which means there will never be any intro music. Anyway, yeah. So, what the heck? Predators Proclivity, right? Host. I'm your host. This is what we're doing. Let's see. Nothing. Is there nothing new? There was a trade. Yeah. Interestingly, the last trade was the Islanders and the Devils, and we played the Devils the other night, and we're playing the Islanders tonight. So, the Islanders had another trade with New York Rangers the day before that. They're having kind of an interesting season right now, kind of alternating home and away, and a back-to-back against the Rangers, home and away. Their season's kind of funky. And we are quickly approaching the regular season pause for the Olympics. That's on the 6th. I think the Preds have 4 more games today, 3 more. And I think the Islanders have 3. But yeah, so the trading is paused on the 4th. So it's still a couple more days before trading gets paused. Gets stopped on the 4th, restarted on the 23rd. So there you go. And the pause is from the 6th to the 24th. I have no idea when. Well, I mean, I guess there's multiple hockey games, right? It's not just one. Yeah, there's the All-Star AHL, the AHL All-Star Classic. For some reason, I had an idea it was an All-Star game, not the Olympics. Sorry. Anyway, let's keep moving on here. Kind of. We'll throw this in later. I don't want to be too predictable. Anyway, yes, so tonight at 6 o'clock, the Nashville Predators are in New York to play the Islanders. The Islanders are third in the Metropolitan Division with 65 points. They are 30, 19-5, 15-9-2 at home. They are tied with Pittsburgh in points. But Pittsburgh's played 2 less games. They also have a 2-game regulation win advantage. So Pittsburgh's got all of the tiebreakers right now. And those 2 teams are 6 points behind Carolina for the top spot in the Metropolitan. Quickly behind, not so quick, but behind anyway, the Islanders are the Blue Jackets and the Capitals tied at 59 points. The Blue Jackets do get the nod there because they've played 2 less games. They do lose out on regulation wins by 5. So the fact that they haven't played as many games gets them the nod over the Capitals. Quickly behind them are the Devils at 58 and the Flyers at 57. So the Eastern Conference is kind of jammed up a little bit, and this division is a little bit jammed up. And so is the Central after you get past the first 3, which I guess is similar here. They got the top 3 down to 65 points and then a 6-point gap. In the Central, where the Preds play, there's an 11-point gap between 3rd and 4th. Looking up at the Atlantic just for comparison, The third place team has 67 points, as does the fourth and fifth place team. So there's no real gap between the top three. Tampa Bay does have 72 points. Detroit quickly behind at 70 and then 67. So all of those spots are still kind of up for grabs. Carolina has a decent lead to be comfortable. Colorado 7 points over Minnesota, who has 1 over Dallas, 11 over Utah. So the top three quite comfortable there. And then when we get to the Pacific, the top two teams tied at 64. And then the next two teams at 59, and then 58 and 57. So all those spots contending. 48 points for Calgary and 41 for Vancouver. They must have won. I guess since they've got a sizable lead in being last, 7 points to Calgary. Yeah, they're the two bottom teams are two Pacific teams, and the next two teams are Central Division teams. Then you get the Rangers and then the next two are more Central Division teams. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 4 of the bottom 7 teams are Central Division teams, but that does include Nashville, who is in it for a wild card spot. So you're 6 teams from being the bottom, and you're still vying for a wild card spot. I'd say, there's a lot of competition still to go. We got 53 games being played for the Preds. 82 is the season, so 29 games left, and everything to play for. The Islanders are in a comfortable spot with regards to their division right now. And then let's see, for them, it is a 1-game homestand. Yeah, for them, they've kind of an odd schedule the last games, starting back on the 24th. They were home against Buffalo, then they're on the road at Philadelphia, home against the Rangers, play on the road against the Rangers. Now they're on home against the Predators, then they'll be at the Capitals, and then they'll be home against Pittsburgh, and then they'll be at New Jersey. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games where they're alternating home and away. And, okay, it's not, the Rangers and Islanders is, I'm not sure the Nashville announcing crew would call that a road trip because they're not staying in a hotel. But still, kind of an odd schedule. They did recently just have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 road games in a row. That started with the first game against Nashville, which Nashville did win. So this is tonight's game is the second game between these two teams, and it's the series. Nashville won the first one in a shootout, 2-1, and so last year the home team held serve. Nashville won in Nashville, so far it looks like it could be the same. Let's hope not. But the Islanders have kind of a strange. Oh yeah, and the Rangers game was a back-to-back, Wednesday, Thursday. But again, I don't know that's. You just need to remember, where to turn coming out of home. I guess I don't know. Anyway. So their schedule's a little goofy, if you ask me. This is the second of 2 versus Nashville, and last year they held serve. They do have a number of players who are injured, none of which show up on the stats, excuse me. Number 53 center Casey Cizikas. Man, I think sometimes, I know that's not how it works. You can't blame somebody for their last name. Taking a bunch of dies with the letters on it, rolling them out and going, yep, that's the name. Cizikas. I guess it's kind of like there's a town in the Seattle area, Puyallup. If you see how it's spelled, you'll never pronounce it correctly. You have to look away and then know it's Puyallup, But if you look at how it's spelled, you'll never pronounce it correctly. But Cizikas is expected back today, day to day as of yesterday. The same situation for number 64 center Calum Ritchie. Day to day as of yesterday, expected back today. So there's no reason not to expect those two back or to expect them to be available if they want to play them. I did bring up the anticipated starting lineup. They do have Cizikas centering the fourth line. We've got a plus there, so I guess that depends on whether or not he comes back. Ritchie is not listed as available or in the anticipated lineup, but there you go. Who knows? Number 40. Next up is number 40 goaltender Semyon Varlamov, who is now week to week. He was month to month when we met the Islanders a couple of weeks ago. Now it's week to week, not expected back until after the pause, so February 26th. Number 28, defenseman Alexander Romanov, month to month, not expected back until May. And out for the season are number 18 left wing Pierre Engvall and number 21 center Kyle Palmieri. I don't know. You don't tune into this show for last name pronunciation techniques. You might tune in to make fun of me for how I pronounce some of these names, but you're not going to learn a whole lot about pronouncing Eastern European names, I think. Anyway, the Islanders were involved in two trades. They traded for left wing Andre Palat, number 81, listed on the second line, and they also got a third round 2026 and a sixth round 2027 pick from the Devils for that Maxim Siplikov. And then also on the 26th, they had a trade with the Rangers. They got number 4 defenseman Carson Soucy, who looks like he's on their third line of defense. They got him from the Rangers for a third round 2026 draft pick. So that's the Islanders. For your Preds, when I think of the Preds, you know what I think of? I think of life-changing. What is it? Life-changing what? I don't know what their code. Life-changing. What's this? Life-changing luxury bedding and loungewear. That's not what I think of when I think of the Preds. But that's what Cozy Earth wants you to think about. Again, if you use the promo code PredsPro, 21% off at cozyearth.com. Free gift with an order at $250, 10% off if you pick 3 products. One of the guys I was listening to on the radio station, if you use the promo code BOGO, all together, BUCKBOGO. I guess they have pajamas. You can buy one, get one pajamas. I looked at it. The one pair of women's pajamas that I saw was $168. If you use that promo code, you'll get two pair, one for you and one for your other for $168. If you use promo code PredsPro, you'll get 21% off. So if that's what you want to do, I mentioned in another podcast, I signed up for this this endorsement just a couple of weeks ago, and I struggled with whether or not to. I went out there to see about buying stuff because I like to, if I'm going to promo something, I'd prefer to know something about it. But I could not bring myself to buy anything because it was so expensive, and I did hear, though, I guess the promo codes were 41%. That's going away at the end of February. At the end of February, apparently, they're reducing their prices. and say that's a day late and dollar short if you ask me, but I don't know why they're waiting so long. But anyway, maybe they've got contractual agreements that they need to fulfill with regards to these discounts or whatnot. But anyway, so after February, we'll see. 21. They'll still be 21% with Preds Pro, but I guess other people that signed up before January 1st, it's the 41%. So I haven't been able to find anybody that has it, but if I do, I still won't buy anything. I don't. Oh, man. Anyway, what I do buy, and I just got, I did get the other day, what's today, Saturday, Thursday, I got my new packs of quantum energy squares. That's right. I get the 12 pack, and I like the variety 12 pack. They do have two other new varieties: the chocolate fix variety and the sweet and salty variety. Quantum energy squares has 6 different types of bars, and I guess 3 of them have chocolate. So if you get the chocolate fix, you'll get a 12 pack of those, and if you get the sweet and salty, you'll get a 12 pack of the other 3. If you get the variety 12 pack, oddly enough, you get you only get 5 of the 6 types. You get it shocked me. You get, what was it, 2? I thought, they got 6 types of bars. You'd get 2 of everything. But no, you get 2 of 3 and 3 of 2, which is weird in my opinion. What is it that you don't get? It's mocha, chocolate, peanut butter. So chocolate, mocha, chocolate, mocha, salted. Chocolate, dark caramel, chocolate mocha, caramel. No, the caramel almond sea salt. Is that the caramel? Yeah, that's the one you don't get. The caramel almond sea salt does not come in the variety 12 pack. Nobody asked me, so I don't know why. It does say try all 6 flavors, but they don't send you. I didn't get all 6. I got, like I said, I think because on one page they show that they yeah. That's funny because they do in the online they've got this variety 12 pack, these 2 of the salted peanut butter crunch, 2 of the dark chocolate pink Himalayan salt, and 2 of the cafe mocha, and then 3 of the peanut butter dark chocolate and 3 of the chocolate chip cookie dough. But on the description it says try all 6 flavors. So that's misleading and wrong. But Preds Pro gets you 25% off there. The variety 12 pack is $28 and free shipping at $35. And they just had a 20% off, but my Preds Pro gets you 25% off. I don't think it's available anymore. I bought mine from the feed. They had 30% off. Me and my deals. So anyway, yeah. So Preds Pro, 25% off quantum energy squares. So I think I fooled you. Thought we were going to talk about the Preds, and I did a promo. I'll probably wind up breaking on both sides of that, so that's good. You'll get a commercial, you'll get my promos, you'll get a commercial. At least then I guess you could just skip through it. I don't know. Anyway, the Preds, the Nashville Predators, are 5th in the Central Conference with 54 points, 24, 23, and 6. They are 10, 11, and 4 on the road. 6 points behind Utah. Nashville has played 1 less game, and they are 3 points ahead of Chicago, who has played 2 more games. So that's how they get to be 5th in the Central. They are not in a wild card spot. Utah is the number 1 wild card team in the Western Conference. Anaheim currently is the wild card too. Seattle and Anaheim swapped positions. They're tied with 59 points, and Seattle has played 1 less game, and they've got the regulation win advantage over Anaheim. So when they tie, Seattle will jump ahead. So Anaheim has fallen back into the wild card 2 spot, with San Jose 1 point behind them, the Kings 1 point behind them, and the Preds 3 points behind the Kings. That makes The Preds 5 points behind the wild card 2 spot. They played one less game than Anaheim, and they do have the regulation win advantage right now. Anyway, 17-16. So if Nashville was tied with Anaheim at this point in time, Nashville would be the wild card 2 spot. So 5 points out of a playoff spot with 29 games to go. I think you have to say the Preds are still in it. And I guess we will see. Coming up on the Olympic pause is one thing. Now remember that the trade deadline is March 6th. So when they get back from the regular season pause, February 24th, they'll have a couple of weeks. What's that for? Actually 10 days, I guess. 10 days before the trade deadline. So teams are going to have to be taking a hard look at where they're at and where they think they're going to go and what can they do for this season or the next and move on from there. For the Preds, this is the third game of a 3-game road trip. They have lost both of them in overtime, 2-3, both of them in overtime. Boston on Tuesday, the Devils on Thursday. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. We'd like to get a win out of this. After this, they do have 2 at home. Monday, St. Louis, Wednesday, Minnesota. The Minnesota game is the front end of a back-to-back because on Thursday they go to Washington, and then that takes us to the NHL pause. So the Preds have 4 games between now and the pause. Tonight at the Islanders, home against St. Louis, home against Minnesota, and then at the Caps. Notable personnel changes is number 42 defenseman Nicholas Hague is week to week, still not expected back until after the pause. So, like I said, most people are either going to be, there's no reason to list somebody as coming back, on the 12th because there's no game on the 12th. So they're either back before the pause or after the pause. So it doesn't really give you that much of a sense of how serious the issue may or may not be just because of when they're expected back at this point. And so that takes us to stats. All right, stats. What am I looking for? Let's see. Game info. Okay, we are back on the road. We are on the road, which means we're away. Got the first goal the other night, but lost in overtime. So the Preds now, when they get the first goal, are 4-1-2. That's still pretty good, depending on where you want to throw that. The overtime, if it's 4-3, if you put it in the loss column, if you kind of spread it out 5-2, the Preds still have the advantage when they get the first goal. Didn't really take advantage of it. Didn't take advantage of the advantage the other night. When they don't get it, 6-10-2. So if you throw that into the losses, it's a 2-1 advantage for the opponents, but still pretty good. The thing that's kind of remarkable is they played 25 games and they've only gotten the first goal 7 times. So I think that's kind of interesting. Kind of sad. Not quite so sad as their records in the periods, especially the first period. The first period on the road, they are 5-13-7. So they are more likely to lose than to tie and or win. So 12 times they've won and tied, 13 times they've lost it. Compare that to their home record of 6-8-14. Where they're more likely to tie it, and basically a coin flip on winning or losing. More likely to tie on the road. The Preds are more likely to lose. If they do get the first goal, they are 3-0-4. I skipped past how things happen in the second period, but that's 3 data points. We'll just keep going here. So when the Preds do get the first goal, they are 3-0-4 in the first period. If they don't get the first goal, they are 2-13-3. 2-13-3 in the first period. So there you go. They actually have won the period on the road when they didn't get the first goal in 2 games, tied at 3, but 13 times they've lost it. Yeah, and, like I said, that really only matters with regards to whether they win or lose the game, but we'll keep on with this. The second period is fairly even, 8, 9, and 8. When the Preds get the first goal, they're 4-3-0, which is pretty much a coin flip. But I guess that's interesting. When they've gotten the first goal, they have not tied the second period. Interesting. That is really interesting. That when they don't get the first goal, they are 4, 6, and 8 in the second period. So more likely to tie 4, 6, 8. Who do you appreciate? In the third period, the Preds are now 9, 7, and 9 in the third period on the road. So, a coin flip between winning and tying, and a little less on losing. I kind of got to like that. When the Preds have gotten the first goal, they have a winning record in the third period, 3, 2, and 2, and when they have not, 6, 5, and 7. When they win the game, they're 5-0 and 5 in the third period on the road. Well, I guess they have to be, because if they were to lose the third period, I don't think the first period has been so bad that they can't lose the third period and win the game. But yeah, let's take a look at that and look at the correlations here between winning the periods and winning the game. Not altogether stunning. The Preds have won the first period 5 times. They're 3-2 in those games. They have lost the first period 13 times. They're 2-11, and they have tied the first period 7 times, and they're 5-2. So obviously, tying it is their best record so far. Yeah, they did. They did win the first period the other night and wound up losing the game, getting the first goal, and won the first, lost the second, tied the third, and then lost in overtime. So that's the first period. The second period, they've won the second period 8 times. They're 6-2 in those. 9 times they've lost, 2-7. And then 8 times they have tied it, and they're 2-6. So exactly the opposite record of winning the second period. And when they tie it, and fairly close, tying and losing has about the same record, 2 and whatever's left, 2-7, 2-6. Moving on to the third period, they are 5-4 when winning the third period, so those 9 times. So that's not stellar. 0-7, lose the third period. They have not won a game yet and on the road, and not surprising because they performed so poorly in the first. They're having to make up for it in the third period. So they lose the third period. They've lost all those games. And then 5-4 when they tie the third period. So there's not really any good records here in the third period. There's just a bad one when they lose it. 5-4 both, whether they win or tie. Taking out empty nets, it gets a little worse. Taking out empty nets, the Preds are 3-6 when they win, and 1-4 when they lose. At least there's a win there. And then 6-5 when they tie. That's not. Boy, that's not good. Not good. Maybe I should start looking at the correlations between the second and third period. Wow. Yeah, I don't normally look at the correlation between the second and third. I spend most of my time first and second, but just looking up here on the road, when the Preds have lost the third period, it didn't matter whether they won, lost, or tied the second period 7 times. They've lost all 7 of those. Twice they won the second period, and then they lost the third period. They're 0-1-1. Twice they've lost the second period. They lost the third period. You lose 2 periods, you're going to lose the game. And then tied the second, lost the third, they're 0-3-0. So that's just a big 0 in all of those. The good record is I guess winning the second, winning the third twice. You win 2 periods, you win 2 games. They win the second, tie the third. It's happened 4 times. They're undefeated in those as well. Tying the third doesn't result in a good result unless they did win the second. They've only tied the second tied the third. That's happened once, and they lost that game. Obviously, they must have lost the first period. And losing the second, tying the third 4 times, 1, 2, and 2. It's interesting. The combinatorics here are fairly evenly spread. There are 3 scenarios that have 4. There are 2 scenarios that have 3, and 3 scenarios that have 2. 1 scenario with 1, the tie and tie. When they tie the second, win the third, they're 2-0 and 2. So at least that's better than, losing an overtime loss. But tie the second, lose the third, 0-3 and 0. So, we already went through that. So winning the second is, I guess they're 6-1 and 1. When they win the second, 6-1 and 1. If they win or tie the third, they're 6-0 and 0 in that scenario. Okay, so that is the combinatorics of the second and third. What about the combinatorics of the first and second? And the thing that has happened the most is to lose the first and tie the second. That's not what happened the other night. They won the first and lost the second. Interesting, when they won the first, lost the second, that's happened 4 times. They're 2-1 and 1. So the one overtime loss happened the other night. 7 times they've lost the first and tied the second. That's not a very good record. 1-4 and 2 in those situations. And winning the first, tying the second has not happened yet. Still 0 there. 5 times they've tied the first and won the second. That's 4-0 and 1. And then 4 times they've won the first or lost the first and lost the second. Both of those 2 scenarios have 4 times. If they've won it, they are 2-1 and 1. If they lose the first, lose the first and lose the second. Unfortunately, that's happened 4 times. So they're 0-4 and 0 in those circumstances. So not the combinatorics here, not too great. Tying the first, winning the second looks like the best scenario. Just like if they win the second, winning or tying the third. Funny, right? Losing a period does not bode well. I haven't run through these types of statistics in a while, but on the road, what am I looking for? Periods lost. 1. Okay. Well, 5 times they've only lost 1 period, and they are 4 and 1 in those scenarios. 14 times they've lost 2, and they're 0 and 14. 14 times. Wow. 14 times they've lost 2 periods. 14 times on the road they've lost. Holy cow. So they played 25 games. And 14 of them, which is more than half, they've lost 2 periods. Wow. 0 and 14 when that happens. No shocker. Didn't lose any periods. It happened 6 times. Happened 6 times. Wow. These numbers are crazy. 6 times they haven't lost a period, and that's more than losing 1. So 6 times they haven't lost a period. 5 times they've lost 1, and 14 they've lost 2. Wow, that is yowza. Yowza. Periods lost. What about periods won? On the road, they've won, 12 times. 12 times they've won 1. Okay. 12 times they've won one, 7 times they've won 0. They lost all of those, and 6 times they've won 2. And won all of those. That is another kind of statistic that's kind of interesting. 6 times they've won 2 periods, 14 times the other team has won 2 periods. And that's 20 of the 25 games. Wow. Crazy. That is crazy. And I don't think they've had the case where, so it's not the case where they've won 2 and lost 2 in the same game, which happened a couple of times, I think 3 times last year, 2 times the year before. That has not happened yet this year. And, that scenario being the case where typically the team is, or what has happened for the Preds anyway, you get outscored by 1 in 2 periods, and then you outscore the other team by 2. You go to overtime, and you win, right? So one of the teams wins in overtime, wins 1 period, which ties the game, and maybe it ties the game. The other team, it could be first and third, second and overtime, whatever. But that has not happened yet this season. And 20 times, team has 20 times. Well, that's that. I'm not so sure about this. They've only got 11 losses. Oh, overtime. Right, overtime losses. They've got 15 losses, 14 of them. They lost 2 periods. Well, they would have lost overtime. Yeah, okay. Anyway, that's still crazy numbers. That's wow. Okay. I don't normally take a look at that, and now that I have, I'm just completely messed up. So I'll take a quick break, and we'll come back with goals. All right, goals. So we start goals by talking about the winning goal. A winning goal was scored in overtime, which, wow. That is, that for the Preds, that is, overall, 10 games have been decided in overtime, 3 in a shootout. So that's 13 out of 53 games, which seems like a lot to me. Maybe it's not. But on the road, 8 times the winning goal has been scored in the third period, 7 times in the second, 6 in overtime, and 4 in the first, and none in a shootout. So, that's all fairly jumbled there between the second, third, and overtime. For the Preds winning, 50% of the time they have gotten the goal in the third period, which is, that's 5. They've only won 10 games, right? Twice in the second, twice in overtime, and then once in the first period. For the opposition, the second period is where they've gotten the winning goal the most, and then overtime, 5 times in the second period, 4 times in overtime, and then 3 in the third and the first. So still a pretty even distribution for the opposition, for the home team when the Preds lose. And so then taking a look at that, as far as the home team winning and the road team winning, numbers there had been fairly consistent between those two scenarios, but they changed in the last 2 games. 29 times this year, the home team has won, and 31% of the time they're getting the winning goal in the third period. So 9 times there, 7 times in the second period, 6 times in overtime, 4 in the first, and 3 times in a shootout. For the road team, 9 times in the third, just like the home team winning, and then then 8 times in the second, 4 times in overtime, and 3 times in the first. So very heavily weighted to the second and third period for the road team winning. As far as goal scoring, the Preds, they did pick up a goal and won the first period the other night. They're still being outscored 17-33, almost 2-1 in the first period. When they win, they're barely outscoring their opponents 12-11 in the games that they win on the road. In the second period, they're being outscored by 3, 19-22. And then the third period, they are outscoring their opponents 34-31. So they're outscoring their opponents by 3 in the third. They're being outscored by 3 in the second. But they've been outscored by 16 16 in the first and out of 25 games. So, I mean, they did start out slow. I think it was, the trip to Sweden, when they went to the trip to Sweden at the end of November, they'd only scored 1 goal in the first period on the road. And so they've done better. But still a little behind and behind, on a per game. I guess the 1 goal would increase their percentage in the first period. We'll talk more about that when we get to matchups. But yeah, so that's the goal scoring. Now, taking a look at how they're doing when they come into the second and third period, winning, tied, and losing. The most frequent thing to come into both periods is, unfortunately, losing. So we'll start there with the second period. Second period, they've come into the second period losing 13 times, and they've been outscored 8-13. So so 13 times they've given up a goal, and they've come into the second period losing. Next up is 7 times tied. Come into the second period, 7 times tied. They have outscored their opponents 10-3. 10-3, so that's good. There's a scenario where the Preds are outscoring their opponents. 5 times they've come into the second period winning, and they've been outscored 6-1 in those 5 games. So go figure. Come into the second period winning, and they don't seem to be able to score. What about the third period? Yes, again, the third period, the most likely thing is to come into the third period losing. It has happened 15 times. And they've been outscored 17-16. In those games, the good news is that 6 of those goals were empty nets for the opposition and 1 for the Preds. So they came into the third period losing, and they did get an empty net goal. So that means that they were winning, right? And so overall, they're outscoring their opponents 15-11 in the third period before the goaltenders get pulled. And unfortunately, they've given up 6 goals in that situation. Next up would be the third period winning 7 times, not even half how many times they've come into the third period losing, but coming to the third period winning 7 times, and they have outscored the opponents 10-7. Unfortunately, 5 of those for the Preds are empty net goals. I assume they did win those 5. That would be a nice addition to this. Would be a record. Record for each of those. Something else to throw in here. I did the most of the things I wanted to update. I remembered to do before I started the podcast today. There's one that I just noticed I have not done. So now this is 2 I've got for the production staff to take a look at. So 5 and 5. So 5 and 7. So coming into the third period winning those 7 times, and they have been outscored 5-7 before pulling the goaltenders, and the Preds have 5 empty net goals. They have not given up an empty net goal in that situation. And then the scenario with the least is to come into the third period tied. Only 3 times, and they are outscoring their opponents 3-2 in those 3 games. So that is goal scoring. They got all these graphs over here about relative difference in scoring based upon first, second, and third periods, and I really have to take a look at that. I can't do that extemporaneously. Got a heat map for the goals to the times. Basically, the delta in the whatever the delta is in the first, and the number of times they score a goal, and I can't even explain it. I have to spend a little bit of time taking a look at that, see if there's anything interesting in here. Let's just wrap that up on goal scoring and move on to what was next. Oh, the next up is the matchups. Right, so the matchups. We are playing the Islanders. And we are on the road. So yeah, I did move things around. Maybe this will make more sense to me. I hope so. Just to set context here, as of yesterday, home teams are scoring 2.5% less goals in the third period than the second. So the trend for home teams is to score more goals in the second than the first, but less in the third. For road teams, the road teams are scoring 7.5% more goals in the third period than the second. So their trend is to score more goals in the second than the first and more in the third than the second. And the difference is such that overall, it makes the road teams are making up for what the home teams are not. So overall, the goal scoring in the NHL does increase from period to period, 2.3% from the second to the third. But that's all made up by road teams. Both home and road. Wow, that is interesting. Both home and road teams score 28.5% of their goals in the first period. Home teams then score almost 35% of their goals in the second, 34% in the third. That kind of swaps a little bit for the road team. Road teams score 33% of their goals in the second and 35.5% in the third. I guess that's true. The goal scoring for home teams is higher than road teams by 114 overall. Okay, I could do that. What the delta is between home and road. But anyway, so interesting. The home teams and the road teams have scored almost the same number of goals in the third period, 915 for the home team, 914 for the road team. Big deltas in the second, 88 goals. 938 for the home, 850 for road teams, and only a 32-goal difference in the first. So there's definitely a difference in goal scoring between the home and road teams in the second period. Not for the Preds. But anyway, so the Preds are on the road. So let's talk about the Islanders. And the Islanders have played 26 home games, which is right about the middle of the league. 15 teams have played more, 9 have played the same, and 7 have played less. As I said, that's why I like to look at this on a per-game basis. And so where are the Islanders with regards to – I should move that down to the league average. So they are 22nd in the league in scoring at home, 2.96 goals a game. League average for home teams, 3.13. The first period, they are right at league average. They're 18th in the league with 0.85, league average being 0.89. The second period, they are 14th in the league with 1.12 goals per game and league average 1.09. And then they drop down. They pretty much follow the league average for home teams. They're 22nd in the third with 0.96 goals for with a league average of 1.07. So they score more goals in the second. Just raw numbers, they've scored 22 goals in the first, 29 in the second, and 25 in the third. So definitely, and that's on 26 games. So they have, their average is more than one in the second period. As far as goals against, they are 23rd in the league on a per-game basis, giving up 2.77 goals against. League average is 3. And in the first, they are they're 21st in the first. 21st in the first. 21st in the first. Giving up 0.81 goals against. League average 0.85. 15th in the second, giving up a goal a game, which is just a tick above a league average at 0.99. And then 25th in the third, 0.96, league average 1.06. They've, let's say raw numbers, they've given up 21 in the first, 26 in the second, and 25 in the third. So the numbers are similar. They've given up 25 in the third. They've scored 25 in the third. They've scored 26 in the second. They've given up, or 29 in the second, and given up 26. and then 22 and 21. So their numbers are fairly close on what they've scored and what they've given up. And it's, having played 26 games, it's right about a goal a game for all of this. So, but it's just a goal a game. Yeah. So that is the Islanders. What about the Predators? The Predators have played 25 road games, which there are 24 teams that have played more, 5 that have played the same, and only 2 teams that have played less. And so overall goal scoring, they are 23rd in the league in goal scoring, 2.88 goals a game. Goals a game. Yeah. 2.88 goals a game, league average being 3 for a road team. And 27th in the first period. That's the first period that they've had so much trouble scoring in, 0.68 goals per game, league average 0.85, so they're 0.19 below. They are 30th in the league for road teams in scoring in the second. They're worse just as far as goal scoring compared to other teams. They're worse in the second than the first. In the first, they suck. 0.76 goals a game in the second period, league average 0.99. So they're 0.23 goals down in the second period. But they are the top scoring team in the third period. I guess they got to score them somewhere, scoring 1.36 goals a game, with the league average being 1.07. So 0.29 above. They come back in the third period, but boy, they put themselves in a hole to get there. The other hole that they have dug is that they're 5th in the league in giving up goals, giving up 3.6 goals a game, the league average being 3.14. They're tops in the league in giving up goals in the first period, 1.32. League average is 0.89. So they're giving up 0.47, 0.89. 4.43. 0.43 goals a game more in the first period than the league average. They do drop to 29th in the league in the second period, 0.88 goals against in the second period. The league average 1.10. So that's good. There's a big delta there. But then they're 6th in the league in giving up goals in the third period, 1.24. League average being 1.07. So they are giving up a lot of goals in the third. They're scoring a lot of goals in the third on the road. And that's how you wind up with the record, I guess, that they have. So I did, I guess, call the score correctly the other night, although I had hoped for a different result. I would. I don't know. I don't know. These numbers, strength to strength, weakness to weakness, between the Islanders and the Preds, it doesn't really look like the Preds are going to score in the first period. It doesn't look like. Yeah, I guess that is the strength. So the Preds are tough to score on in the second, and that's when the Islanders score most of theirs. Interesting. But this is can't go back to the previous game because the previous game was a home game for Nashville. All the numbers are different. Interesting. Okay, well, there you go. That is that comparison. So if we want to now go ahead and take a look at the special teams. Right, and so special teams, penalty kill. Let's look at their penalty kill. The Preds are, there we go, Preds are on the road. Thank you for finding the right numbers. The Islanders at home are 5th in the league in the penalty kill, 83.6%, 11 goals against on 67 opportunities. They've scored a shorthanded goal. As far as times shorthanded, 24th. in the league, so below league average on the number of times. And as far as goals against per games played, 29th. So that goes in the right direction. 24th most number of times shorthanded, but 29th goals against. So that's good for them. That's why they're 5th in the league. The Preds, when the Preds on the road, they are 26th in the league in the penalty kill, 76.4%, 17 goals against on 72 opportunities. So they've given up 6 more goals against on 5 more opportunities, but they have scored 2 shorthanded goals. As far as times shorthanded per games played, 23rd in the league, and goals against per games played, 13th. So that number goes in the wrong direction. Ergo, they're 26th in the league. As far as the power play goes, the Islanders are 17th, 19.3%, 16 goals, 4 on 83 opportunities, and they've given up 3 shorthanded goals. As far as the power play per games played, they're 12th in the league, and goals for per games played, they're 16th. So that number kind of goes the wrong way for them. So yeah, penalty kill, good. Power play, not terrible, but not one of the better ones. And 3 shorthanded goals. I ought to have that doesn't say anything, but maybe I'll figure it out. Be interesting where all this ranks. As far as the Preds power play goes, on the road, they are 16th in the league at 21.6%, 16 goals for on 74 opportunities. So they've scored the same number of goals as the Islanders, but on 9 less opportunities. They have not given up a shorthanded goal. So their overall rank is 9th in the league. As far as where they are, as far as the power plays per games played, they're 10th in the league. So both of these teams are above average, and number of power plays below average and time shorthanded. So it's kind of interesting to see how this plays out. It's I think a similar situation the other night, and there weren't that many penalties. So hopefully it be the same thing. I guess I don't remember how many penalties in the previous game with the Islanders. But as far as goals for per games played, they're 12th. So at least the numbers are close. 10th in number of times on the power play, 12th in goals for. So, it's close at least. They did get a power play goal in the second period the other night, which is good because it hasn't been their strength. Previous, they're 13% in the second period, so that's their lowest percentage of effectiveness on the road. Unfortunately, is when they get their most opportunities. So I did do the combinatorics of the different of what both teams are scoring when the Preds are on the road or whatnot. I don't know that that's that interesting, but now at least I have them. I was thinking about that the other day. So the Preds are 29% in the first period, 6 goals on 21 opportunities. The second period is when they get most of their opportunities, 39. It's just slightly below total opportunities in the first and third. 21 in the first, 19 in the third. So they've got 40 opportunities in the other 2 periods and 39 in the second, but they've only scored 5 goals on those 39 opportunities for a percentage of 13%. This is where I start thinking I need to have these percentages. I guess what is their penalty kills, 76%. Right. Anyway, but then the third period, they do go up to 21%, so 4 goals on 19 opportunities. So their power play on the road is definitely better in the first period, which is surprising because their first period has been so bad. But there you go. That's what it is. The opponents are also good in the first period when the Preds are on the road at 28%, 8 goals on 29 opportunities. That is the most opportunities that they've had per period. Next up is the second period with 24, and they've only scored 5 goals on those opportunities for a percentage of 21%. And then in the third period, 22 opportunities and 4 goals, so 18%. power plays in the first period when the Preds are on the road are running at about a 28%. 28% for the opponents, 29% for Nashville, so it worked out to be 28%. Probably some decimal points in there, which I'm not carrying. Overall, 16% in the second and 20% in the third. So, the biggest delta, I guess, would be that the opponent's power play in the second period is a lot better than the Preds' power play in the second period. Both the Preds and the opposition have scored 5, but the Preds have had 15 more opportunities. The opponents have had 24 opportunities, and the Preds have had 15 more. That's just astounding, not outstanding. Astounding that the Preds are so bad on the power play in the second period. Now, they did get one power play goal the other day, so I think they were at 9% or something, or maybe even worse. Anyway, so that's the that is the special teams part of this thing, which takes us to people to watch. Watch. Oh no, Casey Zizikas is listed. Okay. Bo Horvath is back. I think he was out in the last time we played. He does lead the team at home with 11 goals. He's first on the team, also 76 shots. That's number 14 center Bo Horvath. Next up is number 48 defenseman Matthew Schaefer. Second in goals with 9. Second on the team in assists with 11, but still only second on the team in points with 20. But he is number 1, time on ice, 24-11. Then you get number 13 center Matthew Barzal, who is first on the team in assists with 16, is first on the team in points with 22, and third on the team in time on ice, 21-08. So he is the forward that you'll see on the ice the most. Also second on the team with assists is number 6 defenseman Ryan Pulock. The other interesting thing about Pulock is he leads the team in plus-minus with 10, which is 5 points better than the next guy, who is Barzal. That kind of interesting. Pulock? I don't know. Pulock is first. Schaefer. Okay, so Schaefer and Pulock are the first defensive pairing. So I guess that kind of makes sense. So Pulock, there you go. Second on the team in shooting, the only thing I've got, number 27 left wing Anders Lee. Then as far as players that have shooting percentage over 20%, new guy to the team, number 81 left wing Andre Palat, is at 50%, 1 goal on 2 shots, and his 1 appearance as an Islander. Also up is number 10 right wing Simon Holmstrom, who has a shooting percentage of 25%, 8 goals on 32 shots. But that's actually third on the team. We'll get to second in a minute. And then fourth on the team in shooting percentage is number 53 center Casey Zizikas. It just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? 4 goals on 19 shots, but he is injured, may or may not be back tonight. Center's the fourth line. Holmstrom is on the third line with Pagu and Lee. Pagu, probably Pago. Who knows? And second on the team in shooting percentage with a whopping 33%, 1 goal on 3 shots, only played 7 games, is number 38 defenseman Travis Mitchell, but he is with the Bridgeport Islanders, the AHL team. Not with the team, but second on the team in shooting percentage as it is. For the Nashville Predators, you've got number 91, center Steven Stamkos, first on the team with 10 goals. Second in points with 20, second in shots with 60. First on the team in assist is number 77, right wing Luke Evangelista, but Mr. Stat is also first in assists with 16. He's second on the team in goals with 9. He's first on the team in points with 25, and he's third in time on ice with 1951. He's the forward on the ice the most. On the ice, the very most is number 59 defenseman Roman Josi, 24-16, and he's third on the team in shots with 53. Leading the team in shots, number 9, left wing, Philip Forsberg, first with 68. Leading the team in shooting percentage is number 71, right wing, Matthew Wood, 7 goals on 33 shots, 21.2%. Also kind of interesting on the plus-minus scale, Evangelista is plus 11 and leads the team. Second on the team is O'Reilly at plus 3. Last year I was tracking if we had any players that were above. We barely had anybody that was over 0. I think we had 3 players. Gravel was one of them, and I think 2 of the players had a positive plus minus, and then they sent them to Milwaukee. But yeah, so there you go. So second on the team, also with a shooting percentage of 20% is Reed Schaefer, who was sent down to Milwaukee about a week ago. So that is players to watch. So what about momentum? The Islanders are 15-9-2 at home. They do have a 3-game winning streak coming in tonight. The 2 of the 3 games were against the Rangers. They played the Rangers at home and then went to play at Madison Square Garden, won both of those. Before that, they did beat Philadelphia in Philadelphia. Before that, they lost to Buffalo at Buffalo. Before that, they lost at Buffalo at home. And then they were at Seattle before that. So they were at Seattle, home Buffalo, at Philadelphia, home Rangers, away Rangers. Now they're home Nashville. So they got a 3-game winning streak after a 2-game losing streak. They are 6-4 in their last 10. Early in the season, they did have 2 4-game winning streaks, and that's the most. They've had a couple other 3-game winning streaks. Let's see, did they have any big losing streaks? They had a 3-game. 3 games looks like the most that they've lost at any point in time is 3. And they have a 3-game winning streak. They have had 2 4-game winning streaks, and hopefully they will not anymore. They were 1-0 in their last home stand, and they are 5-6-1 against the Central. The Nashville Predators are 10-11-4. They have lost their last 3, the last 2 in overtime by the same score, 3-2. They've lost in the last 3 games that they lost. They scored 2 goals in both of them. 3-game losing streak means they're now 4-4-2 in their last 10. They were 0-0-2 on this road trip and 1-1 on their last road trip. Against the Metropolitan, they are 5-6-1. Just like the Islanders are against the Central. So, coming into this pause, all teams are going to be pressing, especially ones that are not in a playoff position as yet. The Islanders are, but there's no reason for them to take their foot off the gas. Like I said, they've got a 3-game winning streak. 4 is the most they've had this season. The Preds have a 3-game losing streak. They have had longer losing streaks earlier in the season. There was that 5-game losing streak that they took to Sweden, and then they had a 4-game losing streak early. But since that, 3 is the most that they've had. In fact, they hadn't lost 2 in a row since they came back from Sweden before they lost to Vegas and Buffalo. And then they've won 1 and they've lost 3 in the row again. So the kind of a bad stretch right now. I don't want to say anything, but doesn't that correspond with Marcia Show coming back? I think it does. So not that he's to blame, but it's interesting. Anyway, So that's where we're at, and that's where we're going. So that's tonight, 6 o'clock Central. I really should get the names of these, know where the other teams are at, but I don't care. This is not the Islanders podcast. It's the Predators podcast. The Predators are in New York playing the Islanders tonight, 6 o'clock Central Time. Thanks for listening. I'm Preston Proctor, and you've been listening to Predators Proclivity.